My charming Stanley, my love for you is no less etched in stone. The way the full moon shined in your blonde hair when we first met at that foreign banquet. Can we not conceal this love until our fathers are no more? Can wayward aristocrats really make it outside these walls? We could be captured by pirates or thieves and held for ransom. Can we not discuss this more at the banquet, this Valansdal? Your dearest, Ophelia.
Welcome to the Tombs of Time! I'm the timekeeper, and here are my victims. Guests. Who will now introduce themselves, starting with my lovely fiancée.
I'm Nulla Moore. I'm Null and Paranoid on TikTok, and Nulla Moore on YouTube, where I post my own D&D session that has the hidden guy in it as well, and the DM. And in this game, I play Niela Vokane, who is the barbarian of the group.
And in this corner,
my name is Blake, also known as E-Disciple, and I play the less confused than he was monk named Rafa.
And after a long time of being away, hello, I am the Black Doctor, and I play Donatello, the residential, the one who knows who he is, Holy Man, or more specifically, Holy Turtle Donatello.
he is in fact turtle enough for the Turtle Club.
Turtle,
As we return to the land of Aelith in the southern continent of Calibri on the westmost tip, it is effectively spooky season for this next phase of us doing the game. There won't be a special game like there was last year, though if you are enjoying what we're doing here, please check out the Spoopy Game. It was a one-shot. This year, someone else is contemplating doing a one-shot. And also, I didn't plan anything. Stick around for Christmas. I have something planned for Christmas. So it'll be easier just to run the sessions as normal. But by the time I edit this and have it out, it will be spooky season, so I have out my ornaments. I'm encouraging everyone to dress up. We're going to have a good spoopy time. So now, the session, the most crucial detail. Who can recap where we last left our heroes?
I was the only person here.
It has to be.
That's why it is fitting for you, madame.
Well, Nella was left to her own devices to wander around the city and destroy a fourth of it in the process, in her mind.
For good or for ill.
She learned a bit more about who runs each part of the city. She talked with a guardswoman, and then she went to go see that weird recluse who's a wizard and talk with him for about 45 minutes about things. And then she got a scroll, which is cool.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
A mysterious scroll,
Secrets.
meant only for the most dire of circumstances. Speaking of circumstances, the most of our party has decided to go on to the church, though they found traffic for some reason to be horribly clogged, even foot traffic. So we'll say, for the sake of timing, that Nella, you have a chance to catch up to the rest of the party. So the church is in the northeastern part of A district.
Mm-hmm.
And as y'all are waiting, as tons of foot traffic and carts are attempting to cross over the bridge before you all to get there, up behind you comes someone you haven't seen for an hour or two, hour and a half. Nella.
Yes. Nella, where have you been?
Going for a stroll.
Running to and fro throughout the world, huh? That's okay. Did you do anything fun while you were out?
Well, I spoke with a few people, and I went to that tower, talked with the man who lived there, and he
And
gave
so
me
no one
this.
got hurt.
Not by my hand.
Okay. Rafa, anything for you? I know you've probably missed her.
I missed quite a bit.
But I'm sure you'll be fine. I wonder what's causing all of this traffic.
And as you say that, one random street boy who looks kind of like a newsie kind of looks at you as you realize that the path is actually suddenly clear ahead of you.
Ah, well. He says things that are not as though they were. Come on, friends. And as he begins to cross the bridge.
You traverse with little issue towards the church, the grand cathedral. You've seen many cathedrals in your day. This one is second only to the Grand Cathedral of Citadel, which you have probably maybe once when you were young, or you've seen postcards of it.
Donatello sort of leans upon his staff as he looks up in wonder. This is such a beautiful place. Generally, this is where the archbishops minister. This would be their parish.
As you look up, the bells from the bell tower start to ding and dong, counting out that it is the 6th hour of the evening.
Seems to be almost time for evening prayer. Would you guys like to join?
I would.
I would like to see how this works.
Well, good. Hopefully you guys are in for a treat. Evening prayer is always an enjoyment of mine. Of course, always with morning prayer, but yes, let us see. And he begins to walk up to the door and push the doors open to go through.
The doors are open with with Royal Guard. You remember the Royal Guard, who are entourage for Lady Lorelei. These seem to be the same uniform. Inside, there's sort of an antechamber to the main sanctuary. At the mouth, at the door, the triple set of double doors are basins of holy water.
Donatello walks in and dips his hand into it and does the sign of the Great Paylor over himself. And he
sort of...
Yep. And he motions to the basin to the others. We remember that we enter into these gates just as we enter into the faith through the waters of great washing.
And you'll see that there's a number of other people who are kind of strolling by who do the same thing of dipping it and crossing themselves in the interlaced chevron symbol of Paylor.
I'll follow suit.
We'll do it too.
All right. As you enter, it's clear that the masses have already mostly assembled, as the pews are pretty much completely full, and they are reciting. However, you notice instantly that the scriptures are not being recited in ecclesiastical celestial. They are being recited in common.
Donatello raises his eyebrow. This is new. To be spoken into the language of the common tongue.
Even from this distance, you can make out, given the design of it, that the stole of the head minister speaking over the crowd bears the symbol of House Lorelei, as does much of the iconography around the room, which almost every house symbol incorporates the icon of Palor. So it's not as though they've replaced God's image fully with themselves. Lorelei specifically, the House Lorelei is a Greek lambda with the bottom chevron to complete the pattern.
He at first closes his eyes to listen to the prayers in the common tongue, enjoying them. But as he opens them and he sees the symbol, he looks at it with suspicion as he continues to lead them towards one of the transepts, which are, of course, one of the sides of the church to get a good look at the rest of the minister leading them.
The scripture is a recounting, or it gets to a point, at least in the message, where the scripture is a recounting of this world's version of the story of the second Maccabees, a battle from towards the end of the Age of Aeons, in which the elves were fending against the steadily rising draconic population. And the general Judas Maccabeus led his men, and the tale of how after one of the battles they inspected their own dead and found that only those who had died were ones who had tokens to a nearby deity, worshipped normally by the other faiths. And they found that for this reason they had fallen, and so they decided they would send money to the high priests to help expedite their soul's journey into the afterlife. And the minister goes into a explanation to the Mass on purgatory and how the sacrament, specifically the sacrament they are preparing to examine of communion, is one of those things to relieve one of their mortal sin, so that through a mixture of their own deed or time in purgatory, they can be rid of venial sin.
I'd like to ask Donatello a question.
Yes, Rafa.
Is it typical to pay your way to the good graces of your god?
Donatello grips his staff with indignation, and through gritted teeth, absolutely not.
Then what is it that's happening here?
Blasphemy is what it is. He murmurs under his breath.
A lanky young, which is a bit nebulous with an elf, but a young high elf, as you are saying this to Rafa, has come by with an offering tray, as he kind of gives you a kind of look at your words.
I look to the boy, and with my staff, I point to the tray, and I whisper to him, "Give these back to their families. This will not help them. This instead will harm their souls."
So they have given as they have felt led. If you do not feel led today, then I bid you God's grace. He kind of passes on.
He struggles and almost out of instinct knocks the plate from the hand of the boy. But he tries to steady himself.
There's a brief stint where while it's passing around that the head minister gives a topical mini sermon.
Oh boy.
Recently, my daughter has been traveling the countryside, and as one should with topical preaching, your mind kind of lulls over and you don't pay attention. And before you know it,
His Donatello's head starts to sink in a little bit as his eyes droop.
before you know it,
Rafa's flipping through his book like, where is it in here? I don't see this in here.
for the first time in common, outside of you mentally reading and translating it, you hear the consecration of the host and the wine in common instead of celestial, as the head minister offers it, and it is then the congregation slowly filters up and partakes.
Donatello gets up, and of course, immediately showing his garb, goes up to take the sacrament, and possibly take some for Rafa as well.
Roll a perception check for me.
Mm-hmm.
I keep feeling my dex check to get rid of these gnats.
I feel that, brother. This is the way it is in the summer, beginning of fall.
I don't miss that. Being
Perception,
in the north.
you said?
Yes. And anyone else who wants to. Ooh.
24. I can see this well.
Nella and Rafa, do you stay back or do you proceed up with Donnie?
I'll stay back.
What do you do, Rafa?
I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. The both of you notice easy enough that a person or two ahead of you is Lance. Donnie, you notice that he has been scratching his head for a good minute.
I walk over to Lance and put my hand on his shoulder.
Yep.
Brother Lance.
Donatello.
I haven't seen you in quite a while.
Yeah, sorry, I've been taking some time to replenish my spiritual faculties in one of the dormitories here on site.
And he looks at his head. How's that been for you so far?
So far, so good. This is strange. I've heard about the Novus Cathedral, but I've never been to a Novus Cathedral service.
Neither have I. I mean, I can tell you what, I sort of like the word in the common tongue. That's one thing I can get behind, but this theology of purgatory, what is this?
I mean, it's something my father taught me about, but it's one of those things we don't talk about a lot, I guess, in the South regions.
And yet here in the northern regions, it seems to be the very reason why we take the body and blood.
I would say, in general, with church teaching, you would be very similar. You would be familiar with it, but not so heavily dwelt upon.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's like the concept of charity to a Protestant. It's like, yeah, we should be charitous, but you're using it very specifically here.
Right. So, I mean, sure, there is still a point of cleansing, and of course a relation to charity, but this doesn't seem to be the way. There seems to be a distortion of what we teach. I am a bishop. This should not be how our people are taught.
This is strange. Perhaps we could I could inquire a time where we could speak with Minister Homogeneous Lorelei. That's the line ever approaches the man who he's human. Oh,
I think it
what's with
might be probably getting himself something for his throat.
it's just both things cut at the same time. I was surprised.
Ah.
He's a human. He's elderly, 90s. Fine. Red clothes of the Ordo of the Novus Cathedra. Intricate, elegant designs of a white stole with gold inlays of the patterns. And Lance kneels, and the cracker is placed upon his tongue, and he is given a sip from the cup of wine, and something is spoken in a hushed tone, and then he is bidded off and walks away.
I watched this occur, and I look towards Lance and say, "And you still accept the Eucharist?"
It is the food that our Lord has given us.
Very true.
Even if they teach of malice, they do teach the Lord.
Even if it is preached with gain, the word is still preached. But nevertheless, this must be dealt with soon.
Indeed.
I will deal with it soon.
And he steps away.
And Donatello steps back and opens his hands. One hand for himself, the other for Rafa.
So you're expecting them to put the
put the host in his hand so I can give it to Rafa and show him how to do it.
The father kind of cocks an eyebrow and then gets the idea and gives you the pieces.
I take the piece and ask Rafa to open out his hand or open his mouth.
I'll comply.
I place it on him and says, "The body of our Lord broken for us. Eat, remembering His sacrifice, and eat with the eyes of faith." And I motion for the chalice and perform the same for myself and for Rafa.
Okay. It is bidded to you. Recognizing that you are in fact a bishop of your stature, you are handed the chalice. There was only one in here earlier. Now there's two,
and now they continually multiply, as if out of nowhere. And so I take the chalice, perform the sign, and drink it for myself, and then I say, the blood of our Lord, the medicine of immortality. Drink with the eyes of faith.
Do you use the same evocation that you did in, I think it was Trent?
Yes.
You feel that same unease that you did, but it's compared to the unease of this entire service, it is duller. But there is still a pang of am I thinking about this precisely the way it's meant to be?
And then I begin to add the words, I guess, to ease my own soul. To eat with the eyes of faith, taking in the great mystery, and recognizing what He has done, not because we loved Him, but because He loved us. And then I offer it to Him.
Rafa, as you partake of this, a strange feeling overcomes you as sort of a little bit of weight that had been on your soul from your former life that you didn't realize was bearing upon you psychologically, manifesting even physically. You feel that weight lighten.
Okay.
Nella, you watch a bunch of people kneel or stand, and they have bread placed upon their tongues or palms and wine given to them.
They get a snack, why can't I?
She has
Pretty much
no idea.
almost the entire congregation. There's a few who stay back. A large number of children who stay back from it. Not every child that's in the room, but a contingent.
She's just confused because this kind of like feeding and drinking, like hand feeding, is what her people would do to like animals right before slaughter. So she's just kind of curiously observing and like has her hand on her hand axe where it's at her hip as she watches.
Tekna kind of leans over and in your ear.
Mm. Yes.
A few kids look over their shoulder, and their eyes instantly light up when they see not only a piglet but a pig person in their presence, and they are awestruck at you.
She like waves at them.
Would my character know about the other sacraments of the church?
Roll a religion check. You haven't heard a lot. Actually, no. Oh no, I know how to explain this. While you were a prisoner, there was another prisoner in the belly of that ship who must have been a minister, because they kept. Do you speak Celestial?
Yes.
Yeah, they were rambling in a more ecclesiastical, a more formal Celestial, the seven sacraments of the Palorian Church.
So I would know about baptism. So as I'm passing by, do I see the cistern? I think that's what it's called.
That would have been what you would have gotten at the very beginning.
There is also a second, a font. So there's an elevated stage, maybe raised 5-6 feet, and below the pulpit there is a nether basin.
That's what I was thinking of.
A basin of, and almost a lot of things in this place. Nella would like this. A lot of things in this place are accented with gold or are made of pure gold. The basin of which is made of pure gold. The podium is marble.
I wanted to ask Donatello about that as we pass by. So from what I've understood, was I not supposed to, I don't know, do something with this before? I'm trying to piece together what all this means and how it works. Is there something to do with the water?
Yes, you're correct. As I was saying before, we enter in through the waters of baptism. Through baptism, our sins are washed, and through partaking of the body and blood, our body and souls are nourished. So, you must be washed.
There's 3 of them now.
You
I hate
sound...
to interrupt my own story, but there are now 3 gnats floating around my face.
You sound so upset.
This is getting out of hand. Now there's 3 of them.
Gnats just kind of spawn.
Now then, all three of them.
Look, I fully understand that spontaneous generation is not a real thing. That, Lord Almighty, if flies don't make me believe. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Oh, mercy. Okay. Okay. I take him. I take him to the. I take him to the font, and I ask him, brother, here we enter into the waters that Christ has promised. That our Lord Palor has promised. He promised that he would send his spirit to make us anew. That just as these waters wash over you, his spirit shall wash you and make you clean. This is done first through confession. Do you believe in the great Palor? And do you trust in his work on your behalf?
I don't see any way at this point that I could deny it.
Then, in Palor's name, I dip my hand into the water. I baptize thee in the name of the great Palor. And I take my hand and pour the water over his head 3 times. And I say, now that this man is regenerated by the spirit of Palor, you may take in your heart the word by faith.
With each pour of the water, you feel that burden get 3 times lightened. This strange spiritual oppression you hadn't fully before you just felt it as guilt for a god you no longer served, now feels as though a compression upon your chest that has been steadily through this evening decreasing. Nella, you watch as Donnie leads Rafa up to the basin, says some things, and starts pouring water on his head.
That's a very slow way to drown somebody. All of this is so confusing.
That seems real ineffective. Why don't you just shove his head in?
She's just kind of like, she's like in the middle of her thoughts because she understands that this is something important for Donatello and Ralph. But the last time she was in a building like this, she got attacked by things, and she's kind of just hesitant.
Same.
As you, Nella,
Same.
probably out of paranoia, Nella, you're probably looking at the stained glass windows.
Yeah.
They seem to tell a story. I'm trying to think of the right parable. To be a metaphor for the town, because the stained glass windows are metaphors. Of a king handing out to his servants different sized bags, we presume are of money, and they go out and do various things with it, spend it, invest it, but there's one who buries it. And what's weird is as you look at the panels, it's like, okay, here's the rising action, here's sort of the climax of the story, he's buried it, but then where there should be a panel in the cycle for the conclusion of the story, there's just the primary panel behind the podium that shows the symbol of Palor and of family Lorelei. So you're left without, as abstract as it already is, you're left without a conclusion to the story.
Would I recognize that?
You would not. Donatello, though, you know this as the parable of the talents, sans a pain explaining the conclusion.
I look at it and I look confused because the absence of it wonders me. I gather Nella and Rafa and tell them about the story. Simply, the story begins with a king leaving talents with his descendants, or with his workers. One is given 10, one is given 5, and one is given 1. And the king then leaves and will return soon. And so the one with 10 talents goes and spends it. The one with 5 talents goes and spends it and invests it, while the one with 1 talent buries it. Now, when the king returns, which of course should be on these panels, but unfortunately it's not, I will tell you the end of the story. Number 1, the one with 10 talents comes back and offers to the king 20, and he is rewarded gratefully. Well done, and good, my good and faithful servant. You will be brought up higher, and he will rule. The next one is brought 5 talents, and he comes back with 10. He has invested, and he is again rewarded, good and faithful servant. But the one who has only had 1 talent, he went and bestowed the 1 again and said, I know you are a shrewd king, and does not honor God nor man. And so I did not want to lose this one, and so I buried it. And the king chastises him. When you had your gifts, you should have used it wisely and made better. For you knew that I was a king who did not respect God and man, and yet you did not do as I had asked. You are slain. Now, this parable, this story, is to tell us that with our gifts, we are to serve the great Prelor mightily. But those who do not do as God commands are destroyed, for they waste their gifts. Now, that bears asking, why is this panel not there? What is the lesson that this cathedral is trying to tell? Of that, I must be certain.
As Donatello has been explaining this to you, the masses have been excused with a benediction, the Beatitudes in the common tongue. And as he concludes the recounting of the parable, recounting, not recanting.
Vowels, please!
The congregation is filtering out.
Well, it seems that the evening service has ended. It is time for us, I believe, or time for me, to find my answers. Would you both care to join me?
Sure.
Certainly.
Fitting.
Come
with me, friends.
As you start going that way, you start hearing a commotion from outside.
I immediately turn on my heel and begin to look. It seems that the great Palor has called me to investigate. What is this?
Do you all
see
follow?
with my elven eyes?
I follow.
Perfect.
What do I see with my elven eyes?
As
Like baby ducks following a mama duck.
it's coming from the streets. As you all exit the church along with the congregation. The streets are abuzz with murmurs and hushed tones. Everyone has stepped off to the sides as if preparing for a parade to march through. But as you all look, if you'd all make perception checks, please.
Wow.
You all see easy enough, Rafa, just barely as of your human height. The focal point is not a parade. However, you gaze upon a familiar corpulent visage. It is difficult to recognize him by his outfit. The once stainless and ironed white shirt, vest, and pants are now at their lightest a shade of tan, if not brown. His pleated tie hangs around his neck, undone. His clothes are torn in various places. A missing button reveals his gray belly. This is Hephaestus Brigand, the former mayor of Trent. Beside him, in a perfectly clean and kept outfit, the butler of this disgraced mayor. Upon his back is a backpack made of a large leaf, and he has a spear made from a branch in his hands as they march down the street. And behind them, the city is slowly forming a column to follow and see what is going to unfold.
So it seems that he who has sown is now beginning to reap. Would you guys like to join as we observe this?
I go to the front of the crowd.
Yeah,
We follow.
you follow the procession. Brigand looks dead inside. You didn't know that you could tell when a hippopotamus person has bags under their eyes. Hephaestus Brigand has bags under his eyes. As you follow, the butler does actually kind of like hello, looking flawlessly like cartoon Alfred.
Fitting.
As the town around you slowly following Brigand in this procession, everyone is shocked, in awe. You figure to them, this is the prodigal son who went away with everything and is returning with bile still upon his shirt. You follow him all the way through the districts to the Brigand estate at the end of the banking district. Behind the gate, this beautiful golden gate with a gold placard with marble inlay of says the Brigand estate. Manned at either side in a revolutionary looking garb with tan pants are gift guards, not imperial guards, but guards of their own kind. But behind the bars are 3 giff men dressed almost as aristocratically as you remember Brigand once was when you had met him that fateful day. You watch as Hephaestus comes to the gate, falling upon his knees as he grabs at the bars. There's a silence that kind of rings out as you hear, "Hefe? Is that my Hefe?" An aged voice coming from behind the 3 standing male giff, who part instantly as a matronly giff in a very, very intricate dress, from like coming up the neck to passing behind her in a train. She approaches. She's clearly quite old. You can't tell if she's wearing a powdered wig or if Giff actually can just naturally grow hair, but she has it curled at her sides like a grandmother would have. There's a small heart of red lipstick perched on the center of her lips. "Mother!" She looks down at him. She herself is puffing a long, elven-style cigar. French. "Festus, why are you so dirty?" "Those mean people, they tried to hang me after all I did for them. Then they took my money." And the matron is taken aback. "Now, why would anyone rob my Heffy?" "I have no idea. They kept on complaining about things that simply were not happening. Strange, uncensored weakness, disappearances, despondent authority figures. The matron takes out from her corset a letter, waving it in front of them. Nella, this is that letter that you delivered.
Oh.
You can tell from here. Oh, like this letter from the captain of the guard you relieved of duty? He detailed everything you've been doing for the past few years. You've been a bad boy, Heffy. Lies! Deception! Denial! Please, Mother, I beg you, I'll do anything. As the gates open. That you will. Come inside. We'll clean you up, you shameful hippopotamus. And they proceed inside, aside from the two guards, and the gates reclose. As the entire assembly just kind of is in even madder whispers than before, as you are left to yourselves with this display.
Nice.
Oh, I wanted to say
I look at
hi.
Nella. What did you have anything to do with this?
That letter looked familiar, but I didn't know it was for this.
Well done.
I've been waiting so long for the payoff of that.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh,
And we didn't even have to do the fastball special.
You still can.
Those look like golden gates. I'd break the show. Well, that was interesting. I'm glad he finally got his comeuppance.
Well,
You,
speaking of that, I think there's more of that at hand.
you spot, as you're looking around the crowd, a gobsmacked Lance.
Ah, Lance, there you are, my friend. How are you taking this?
I have countless questions. However, on the sailing here, I hate to barge in, but our first day here is almost to a close. We need to either sail or find a tavern soon. Me and the captain of the guard were looking over the documents you procured,
Mm-hmm.
and our best conclusion is that you should be snooping around the docks, perhaps inquire with the dock masters about cargo of the last few weeks, months.
Fitting.
I understand you wish to speak with the clergy. I do too, but he's probably out for dinner with his bishops at this point, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm a bishop. I could get in.
Maybe this is very much a hive for the aristocratic.
Point taken. Well,
If you wish to investigate the docks tonight, I can accompany you. I'm not so sure about tomorrow. I have a lot to contemplate in lieu of that sermon.
Understood.
I
Well,
didn't know there was a version. I didn't know there was a version of the text in the common tongue. Maybe he was translating?
that I did not either. I hope it would. It would be best if we found someone who could put it in the common tongue, possibly put it in a book.
I heard a rumor about someone north trying something like that, but they were excommunicated.
Well, do you think they would have survived? I mean, excommunicated doesn't automatically mean execution.
This is true. It's hard to say. The Order's main focus is the war.
That is true. I did hear tales of one man who tried to not only put put the prayers in the common tongue, but also a book. He also walked around with the Dragonborn, but that'll never happen.
Somewhere across the multiverse, a share raises an eyebrow.
Athanasius goes, "What happened, my friend?"
Will the adventures of a share Akita and Athanasius ever continue? Who knows? Sorry.
She's just not there anymore.
Rude! She's just like...
And the otaku ever continue?
I didn't mean for the reference to get that deep, but it got deep. Anyway, I think we should head over to the docks. At least to give us time to actually investigate.
Sounds good.
Friends, would you like to join us?
Friends, countrymen.
Akita wants to like watch until Hephaestus and them are all inside, and then she nods to Donatello.
Okay. Heads up, how much longer can we all go for? It's early to be asking that, but...
I'm good.
I'm good.
You're good. Okay. I'm getting warm. Ugh. I mean, I am wearing 2 layers, but still.
You are wearing 2 layers, and you've been getting your exercise in. So
I've been burning my calories. Sipping my wine. Anyways, okay. I declare that we shall take a brief break before the second act of this session. Donatello, would you be so kind as to give a gospel break? Gospel message presentation.
Indeed. So the reason why we do this, the reason why we have all of these particular things is simply because of the gospel, which is the main theme of what we like to do here on the Tomes of Time. So what is the gospel? The gospel is primarily about Jesus Christ, the Son of God. He who was in the beginning God and with God entered into human flesh. He was born of the Virgin Mary. He lived a perfect life, that which no regular man could ever live. He died, facing the wrath of God and satisfying the wrath of God on our behalf. He was dead for 3 days, but he rose from the dead on the 3rd day, conquering death and Hades, for which he proclaimed, "All power in heaven and on earth has been given to me." He says, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last, the living one. I died, and behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys of death and Hades." He ascended into heaven, taking our humanity with him into the heavens to union with God, and there he is seated at God's right hand, where he rules and reigns. And he will come again to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom shall have no end. And now I know what you're thinking. So what? Why is this important to me? Well, it's important because you are a sinner. You, as a son or daughter of Adam, have sinned against God in thought, word, and deed. You have sinned and violated God's holy laws. And if God were to be just, he would condemn you for your sins. But he has found a way to not only be just, but also merciful. In the sacrifice of his son, he has provided his son as a propitiation, a sacrifice that turns away your judgment. And if you repent and believe in him, what does that mean? Repent means to turn from your sin, to recognize that you are a sinner and lean upon God's mercy, admitting yourself to be a sinner and that you're in need of God's grace. And faith, that is to trust that what Jesus did, he did on your behalf. And if you repent and believe in him, you will be saved. Your sin will be traded for his righteousness. Your filth will be traded for his cleanliness. You will be called a son of God, and you will be saved. That is the gospel. Amen.
And if y'all want to promote your contents, I'm for that. Although we will start that off with, hey, I said a while ago that I am no longer employed. Well, guess what? On top of that, I did have unemployment money that is at its end. So please, if you have entertainment from this show, please look in the link below or go to Patreon and look up Stephen the Stole.
Yep.
No period. It's not like my TikTok. Just Stephen the Stole. Caps for each word. One word. And look, the lowest tier is $3. You get to see my haphazard occasional uploads of my cute dog. You can see some of my other content with the higher things. I've gotten out of habit of uploading a lot. I intend to be doing stuff. I intend at some point in the next 6 to 12 months to be having a one-on-one campaign that is going to be recorded and put up there exclusively. Maybe the first session will be on here to watch. But the campaign is going to be on there. $3. If you're financially stable, you got at least $3 you can spend a month. It's going towards a good cause. Helps me have an atmosphere where I can create this content, where I can work on other projects that are coming down the pipeline. Like right now, I'm killing it because I plan to move away from this place. A series that I film around this place with my miniature action figures and doodads. I'm doing a lot of that. I'm going to be doing a blooper series of that on my Patreon. There's going to be a free promo of it that's not the full first blooper reel that I'm going to put here on YouTube. But I'm going to be doing that. So I am doing things. I'm not just asking for money and doing nut. I'm doing something. and saying, hey, every YouTube creator has some way of supporting them. So it shouldn't be weird that I'm asking for it.
No, it's not.
And I'm not withholding this. I'm not withholding any. I'm not withholding. I don't know words. I hate talking about this because I feel I don't know how to ride that fine line to where I don't feel bad about talking about it.
Yeah, of course. And that's something that we all deal with. I don't like asking for money.
It's like it's not like there's some people who it's a pride thing. For me, it's just I don't want to come across as a beggar, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're willing to buy Jacksepticeye Markiplier, if you buy Cloak, if you subscribe to like Night Vale Patreon or any like Patrons, like this is just I'm just another person being like, hey, I'm trying to make a living out here. And now y'all may promo yourselves.
Blake, do you got anything?
So I'm primarily operating on YouTube now. I decided to drop a couple of other things and focus on that. I'm kind of going back to what I'm known for, which is the eschatology side of things. So I've been kind of hitting that pretty hard. I actually have a video premiere tomorrow that I worked quite hard on. Many hours of study and editing and shooting and scripting and all that. So all my videos are now scripted. I don't really do anything off the cuff so much anymore. I might go back to doing lives here and there, but we'll see. That's another thing. But doing shorts mainly, and then trying to do one long form video a week if I can, and I release those Sunday mornings. So I have one tomorrow morning, which is a follow-up to my video that I did, the reasons that Revelation was written in the 60s AD and not in the 90s AD, as Google says. My first video focused on the extra biblical sources, so historians, things like that, not just the Bible itself. This one will focus more on the text itself of the Bible, and show the evidences why that's when it was written. So hope you guys tune into that. It'll premiere tomorrow at 10:30 Central Standard.
I love so much that's your position on that, because that's also my position on that, because that, I think a lot of
so
stuff I think
evidence.
culminates. a lot culminates in 70 AD for the Bible, in my opinion.
And you also have a quote from Clement saying that there were no more inspired writings written after the time of Nero. So if he's a credible source, perhaps that's an... See, I actually had to change my position on something because I held the position that the Gospel of John was written after. I might be wrong on that because
Now,
if Clement's right, then...
Is that first or second Clement?
First.
I
guess I'm not sure on that.
Because second Clement is taken as pseudepigraphal.
Yeah, it's a bit more dubious.
I highly doubt that. Yeah, I found it in one of my my source books. So they're usually not using sources like that for.
I'll have to reread Clement because we're talking Clement from like
Clement of Rome, right?
Clement of Rome. Yeah.
Okay.
Not Alexandria.
I did the audiobook of First Clement. I should have come across that.
My opinion was that it was just a council of bishops and not one specific bishop. Anyways,
you and I are gonna have to fight, sir.
So you've promoted. Now it's your turn to promote Anglican.
Well, I mean that does fit with the theme. Of course, you can find me on TikTok at the Black Doctor. You can also find me on YouTube. You can find me on TikTok at Black Doctor 21. You can find me on YouTube at the Black Doctor. You can also find me on Instagram. You can subscribe to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/theblackdoctor. I do audiobooks, live streams, church history lessons, and also get with my friend Solomon Wisdom Art to make AI art, just like the one that you're seeing right now. You can also find me a bit more regularly on God Logic's YouTube channel and TikTok, where if I'm not making content, I'm making content with him. His live streams are just absolutely awesome, where we have fun, stop Muslims, and just have a real awesome time. I'm gonna start back making up my content. I'm still in seminary, but I still want to make time to make content. Probably gearing myself more to a more Anglican bent. But I still want to get back to teaching church history, answering theological questions, solving theological conundrums. The things that I used to do for about 2 to 3 years before the seminary wait, just crushed me. Also, I'm getting married next year, so that's going to be awesome. And so I'm working on,
I'm going to watch.
Sir, you're going to be there. And so I'm continually trying to build up an income so I can take care of my growing family, and supporting my Patreon in any tier. Any little bit helps, or just donating to my Cash App and stuff like that is incredibly helpful. Every little bit helps. As I'm looking for a good sustainable job, because I'm the interim youth director, and our church is now beginning to look for a permanent one. And so I'm in the middle of theological transition, as well as looking for a 2-bedroom apartment home. So there's a lot going on, and so your prayers and also your support is greatly appreciated.
And no, I believe you have plenty of stuff you could promote.
Like a couple things. Mostly just my D&D game, which I stream on Twitch most Tuesdays under Nolan Paranoid, and then I edit it and I put it on YouTube under Nolan Moore. And my TikTok is Nolan Paranoid, and I'm working on a project that I might talk about when I have more of it out.
Nice.
And I mean, the cat's out of the bag that we're engaged. Look forward down the pipeline to projects that are collabs of us.
Makes sense.
You guys pick out a date yet?
I mean, anyone I need to put it on my YouTube. I said I was gonna put it on my YouTube. The D&D skit that we did when I was there. Needs. I need to put it on YouTube because I love it. It's fun. People like it.
Did you guys pick out a wedding date yet, or is that still in the works?
Still working on it.
Nice. Take your
I mean,
time with it.
Can I say the one scheduling thing we do have?
Sure.
Ideal. I'm asking her.
As if my opinion mattered.
We're like, yes, tell us.
We're planning on autumn for the season. That's the one thing. That's the one thing scheduling wise we have worked out. I have some technical stuff I've said, like it's gonna be potluck. Y'all are invited to bring your casseroles and your potato salads and
Your northern hot dishes. Those are so good.
I swear, if somebody puts beans in the potato salad, or I swear, grapes in the potato salad, I'm leaving. I might be sort of white, but I'm too black for that. It's not happening.
Am I invited to the cookout? No, I'm asking you to bring the cookout here.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Anyway.
Deviled eggs for everyone.
Ooh. So the curtain reemerges as everyone takes their seats, silences their phones, and asks why the popcorn portions are so small as we return to the apparently theatrical release of Tomes of Time. As you are all making your way with perhaps a bard playing Pink Panther towards the docks.
I'm not a panther.
Or Mission Impossible.
Oh yeah. Now, Noel, could you do the thing to be sharing your feed?
It's been sitting down there the whole time. You
Is
have
it?
to put it in.
It's like adding one of us to the stream.
It should be right next to
Whoa, I didn't see. It didn't give me a notification. Oops,
Nerd.
I would feel really bad if I looked down there and I saw that the captain had been waiting there for ages.
We would have told you.
I don't think
He's just sitting here like, let me in.
Oh, I would have felt so awful. But he didn't respond. He hasn't responded to any of my Facebooks. Anyways, we're down on captain for those who are just tuning in, which according to our watch count, no one's tuning in.
I'm watching.
Oh yeah,
They're never
for
accurate.
the three people tuning in. You approach the docks, and for this time of night, there is still cargo movement. There's no real people. You approach the dock house with the dock master, and the door's closed. But you see there's a lantern burning inside, burning the midnight oil.
I go in.
Can I zoom my own screen? Ooh, don't want to do that. I just want to actually see the peoples more. I can't see them anymore. They're so small on my screen.
You should pull up Twitch on
Huh?
or you should pull up like your YouTube on a separate tab and just watch the stream while you're
Fair,
doing
but then my perspective is going to be shifted to here instead of to here. Anyways, presentation stuff. I'm finicky. I'm the DM. I'm allowed to be finicky, I guess. Anyways,
My game. I can do it however I want.
It's my party. So yes, you approach the door. You find it locked. Knocking is not just a spell; it's a courteous gesture.
I want to kick. Oh no, we can knock. Never mind. She's fighting off habits. You got to give her time.
If I ever make a personalized ringtone for you, no. Because I run my phone on silent. If I ever make a personalized ringtone, I'm clipping that.
I'm gonna kick it.
I'm gonna kick it. That is probably the funniest thing.
The epitome of the impulsive thoughts. You
That
as
is
a barbarian is just letting the impulsive thoughts win.
That's not. I doubt that's the funniest thing you've said this campaign, but that is the funniest thing you've said this session.
Oh, thanks.
The funniest thing you said in the whole thing is the fastball special.
Knock, not kick. She's kicking habits, but she's gonna knock at the door.
I want to kick it. Roll the d20.
You knock on the door, and you hear some shuffling from inside.
With my boot.
You hear the distinctive wood on wood. Have you ever been around anyone with a peg leg? Nella, has she?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, it's too late to know if you recognize that noise as the door kind of opens with like 3 deadbolts, and you see the right peg leg of a man looking very much like a. Anyone ever seen Seawolf? Like seen that graphic novel Seawolf? Kind of that guy. He's got like the striped white shirt. He's got the blue jacket and pants and blue beanie, but not actually a beanie because beanies are kind of too much versus like old nightcaps. He's got a grizzled beard. He just kind of goes, "Can I help you?"
Well, I lean in. Well, sir, I sincerely hope you can, and I brazen my my bishop's cloak to, I guess, add more authority to it. We would just like to ask you a few questions.
Look, I already told you. Mother was Pylorian. Father was hedonistic. I appreciate what you'll do for the Luns, but I'm really not interested in attending your masses. I get that there's wine. I get it. I like wine. I prefer my whiskey. Okay? A little bit of the Galamé. But, I appreciate what you'll do.
I understand it, and trust me, I'm more of an ale guy myself. Don't worry. But we are not here on behalf specifically of the church. So if you would, if I could lean on that respect, we should come in and ask you a few questions. Would you be okay with that?
You here on behalf of the Loreleis?
No, we are. He cringes a little bit. We are not.
Forent?
No.
Did the Cofflestones send you? Because I've been keeping my books. I've been paying my bits. I've been.
No, we are not. Maybe you could tell us about that, but no, we are not. We're here to check out a little bit of the cargo and ask you a few questions about.
Well, I need authority. Who are you here on behalf of?
The Great Paylor. Not on the church, but on the Great Paylor himself.
I'm not a religious man. I need more proof than some purple clothes.
He turns. He turns to Lance. Any help here, or should I continue to attempt to persuade him?
Oh, that's easy. Good sir. You have reasonable suspicion, given there are two bishops here, to assume that we are simply here to do an inspection on someone's behalf. If you want us to go tell this Cottlestone or Lorelei that you are being obstinate in granting us entry, I'm not sure how that will turn out for you, but you might just want to let us in.
I would, and I chime in. I would agree when it comes to all of them that you have mentioned. We could just simply report to all of them and let you know that you have been obstinate and undenying for us.
There is a colossal sigh. Sorry, 1 second. From the Dark Master as he closes the door. Actually, wait, no, I should make you. Yeah, roll a. Oh. You get advantage.
Nice.
We're gonna consider this. Lance gave you the help action.
No.
So you have advantage.
Yeah, I know. It's it's.
Do
terrible.
you have inspiration?
I think I do. Because it's still
If
in
not,
the pool,
if not,
right?
there's at least a party pool that probably has
exactly.
one inspiration point.
That's what I was going to ask, because I don't know. I have skill in this. Are you kidding me? I don't want this anymore. You know what, Lance? You take care of it.
The door
Just sit here
closes.
and out.
I was gonna give this to you, but then I decided it should be persuasion, and I'm sorry, you hear the door close and you hear the distinct sound of 2 more deadbolts latching.
Well,
Time for that boot.
You feel like you can still try, you've just severely hurt your chances.
Well, I still lean into the door. My friend, I know you still might be suspicious, but I do think you should let us in and investigate. And I should warn you, I think we really do need to get in here, or else our friends might be a little bit more aggressive than I would be.
I'm activating the gauntlets.
Finally!
Roll intimidation.
Why can't the persuasion work?
I'm sorry.
I'll say that there might be some sound from Rafa. He's doing that. He's helping. So roll with advantage.
Why can't the 19 work? Because I just got it.
Or is that?
There we go. Oh God.
Oh wait, who rolled the 19 persuasion? I'm sorry.
It was me.
I don't think his voice can get any higher. If it
Wait,
goes any
what
higher,
part?
that's a 20.
I'm sorry. What part was that for? Because the last thing I saw was the 5.
Yeah, the last I rolled it when I was whispering to him through the door, trying to warn him that if he does it, things might get more violent without me.
Oh. So we'll say that your persuasion. So that persuasion was for that, which was basically a threat. So we'll say that was your intimidation.
Which
Which,
is also
yeah, you, after a minute, and as you grill him further, you hear, wait.
And I'll power down the hands. Just so he can see them.
Alright, what do you want? What do you want to look at? We got books, we got coin. They're going straight to where they're supposed to go.
Particularly, we are looking for information in relation to cargo. Is that right, lads?
Yes.
That would be about it.
So would you mind tell us what has been in the hustle and bustle and has been transferring throughout the town of Vahlen.
He pats a tome that looks like the medieval equivalent of a completely full student's binder, like packed to the brim. And he's like, bloody, this is a month. Please.
Okay.
And it's on top of, beside it are like several stacks. Or sorry, no, he doesn't say a month. He says, bloody, this is a week.
Well then, he mage hands and grabs the he grabs the binder and pulls it to himself. What?
Well, mark that you spent a spell slot for Mage Hand. Wait, no, Mage Hand is a cantrip.
Yes.
Right. I was looking at that earlier.
Yep. And for me, I just have it on hand because I'm telekinetic.
You know that the thing you'd be looking for is a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm. And so I begin to rummage through, just taking one stack, referring to 1 week, and then just putting it on top of the other, and until I get to the week that the week that we're looking for, and pull it up, and then open it for us.
Lance helps you find that sweet spot.
Mm.
And
thank you, my friend.
the guy, roll an anyone who wants to roll an insight check.
Oh. Also, I wanted to ask how tall this guy is.
He looks like 5'6". The peg leg doesn't help.
Cool, he's taller than me.
What kind of cars this guy drive?
Nella's like 4'9", 5 feet. Like, she's short. Leyland's are short.
Oh, I thought she was big. I got big energy out of her.
Well, yeah.
Napoleon complex energy.
It's the thing. I've told you this. She was the runt of her family, so she acts bigger.
Right.
I was about to say I have a 7 in this. I better not roll something.
Doc, you're like leading the interrogation, basically. He that level of insight. Those are not the buttons I thought. Okay.
Oh.
Yikes.
I'll give him disadvantage.
Wow.
How good would you say Donatello is at rating people?
I think he's okay at reading people. I mean, he could have easily seen. He could easily know that the people are lying to him, but not specifically what lie. And
Right.
He could see that everyone at the ball was not being as they saw, as they seemed. So.
He is a hard man to read because you've only just met him, and humans are notoriously super complex and hard to understand.
Okay.
You miss Whistle, where there were countless turtles. You understand turtles. Humans they're like a fine wine. They're an acquired taste. You don't always understand where they're coming from. But you've seen this demeanor sort of before in frontline commanders who acted like they had it all together, but clearly were scared crudless. He is putting up a great facade, but you can tell that it is a facade of cool and calm.
I begin to slightly open the book, keeping an eye on him, just watching to see if he jitters or anything.
As you flip through the pages, he remains mostly unaltered. Roll investigation.
Okay.
Can I try looking past him to see what's inside?
Of course.
Like, specifically?
Investigation check.
Yeah.
7.
Lance is helping you look.
Okay, cool.
So roll with advantage.
Ooh.
I wish these nats were
Wow.
nat ones.
I'm so sick of these. Oh man, good lord. Oh, Rafa.
Rafa, you notice that there's a roll history with advantage to compensate for 5th edition not having a recent memory check. So with advantage, that means you're rolling twice and taking the highest.
Yeah, take the
Okay.
highest. Better.
Okay. You'd heard a rustling when you arrived. You specifically, well, everyone would understand. It was kind of a metallic. No, it was a wood. It was like a wood shoving noise, like a drawer being closed. Out of one of the drawers on his desk is a paper sticking out of one of the closed drawers. Nella, you notice this too, although you're more so understanding based on the investigation, you're not quite connecting the rustling sound that had happened before he came to the door. You just know, there's a paper sticking out. That's sus.
I want to ask him his name.
You want to ask him something? Okay.
Or his name.
Okay.
What do you call yourself?
What do I call myself? I'm Dockmaster Reichstadler. That was more subtle with an American accent.
Alright. Thank you.
Anything else you want to know, Lassie?
How'd you lose your leg?
Pardon?
The wood on your leg.
My peg leg?
Yes.
What about it?
How'd you get it?
There are some folks you don't want to cross. And when you do cross them, you'll lose things. I lost my leg. Where'd you get the pig?
I'm pretty sure I just picked her up and kept walking.
That's fair. That's fair. So what are the rest of y'all doing? Donatello, you're having a hard time. The handwriting itself is common shorthand, which is sort of a second language. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, because I know proficiently Aquan, Celestial, and Common, but with this guy's handwriting,
yeah, your parents did raise you to recognize Common, but Aquan probably being your mother tongue, and this even being common shorthand, it's not easy to follow. Everything seems in order beyond what you just don't get.
I telekinetically slam the book closed to try to startle him. Your handwriting is terrible, by the way.
Well, I mean, my mates isn't much better.
I think we can all see that. I look to the other two. They seem to be focused on the paper in the desk, do they?
You roll an insight with advantage. Fish for crit.
It's not there.
Fish for
Fish
crit.
for crit.
Oh,
Bollocks.
you triangulate from their trajectories of sight. They're looking at what very quickly becomes a very obvious drawer that has a paper sticking out of it.
I smirk. And with my mage hand, pull open the door where the paper is. Or pull open the drawer where the paper is.
As he hears it moves, he kind of shifts back to where his peg leg is supposed to stop it.
I notice. Do I notice that?
Oh, it is. Everyone sees that he distinctively, from where y'all are at the door, he has to take like more than 5 feet of movement back.
What you doing?
Just loose drawers and very, very fine paperwork that could fly out, change, dislodge. Gotta keep things in order, you know.
I agree, and usually people don't usually have those things in drawers unless they're important, aren't they? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's all the contents in these drawers are important. Me and Finnegan could be audited at any time, and we'd have to provide flawless documentation for the past half year.
Then why don't you show me this flawless documentation that you've had for the past year?
Sure. Well, roll either intimidation or persuasion, whichever you feel more confident in roll.
Well, intimidation.
I will be right back.
Okay. It'll be a 17 by the time you get back. Tell you what, it's better than rolling that or intimidation. Intimidation is terrible. I tell you what, if it was either Balgroth or Athanasius, intimidation would be awesome. Because I can scare someone with intimidation. Rafa, what have you been running investigation for?
That's what he was saying, wasn't it?
No, for me it was either persuasion or intimidation.
Oh.
You're just
I was trying to observe.
You're just busy looking at folks.
I'm just trying to observe.
I have keen eyes.
Now, what do you have in eyes see?
I have special eyes. Look with your special eyes. My brand. Oh, no. Apparently, the new DLC for this new Sonic game is incredibly hard.
Yeah. Been dying to upgrade my Xbox so I can play Starfield. It looks awesome. I've heard it's buggy, but no surprise, it's Bethesda.
Bethesda.
I'm confused with what was rolled.
Oh yeah, I rolled a 17 for persuasion, and Rafa misheard and rolled an investigation. So he is extra attentive today.
I see. Why is there a second persuasion roll, though?
I was rolling with advantage. And fishing for crit at the same time.
I didn't say you could roll it.
But I was also fishing for
However,
crit.
the first thing you rolled is great enough. What did you threaten again? Oh, grief. He steps aside. Rafa, with your investigation, he is sweating a literal bucket load of sweat. You investigate the heck out of that.
He can literally see when the sweat forms from his pores and begins to drip down. And as I walk by him and pick up the papers and begin to read them, and then hand them over to Lance to read for confirmation of what I read, because his handwriting is still absolutely terrible.
I don't think this is quite his handwriting, however.
Would it be?
What it be?
What to do?
What it doing?
What the dog doing?
What did dog do?
What you see?
Was the bottom of the deep blue CCC?
We're gonna have to cut this down because it's gonna take me a minute to figure out how to relate this.
Can I ask him something?
Yes.
While they're looking at that, who is Finnegan, and is he here?
Finnegan Breach takes care of the day shift. I take care of the night shift. Doc, what are the languages you read?
Aquan and Celestial. And Common.
I have Elven, Infernal, Sylvan, Common, and Celestial.
Nella, what are the languages you read?
Common. And her own language, but I doubt that's here.
Yes.
Inland Ayland! No.
A connection to my backstory.
Leif Erikson.
A whole day? Wow! SpongeBob! Sorry. Anyways, sorry. Buying time for myself to figure out what on earth to do here. What you see...
If only we had our little axolotl friend to help.
Yeah.
If only Tem hadn't gone to Coleg.
What would that...
What?
I mean, would I be
Why
able
did-
to attempt it?
Why did we give him all that dog residues?
Would it just be a raw intelligence roll, or what?
No.
We could take it back to the church, or maybe there's a translator. Or we could just make him tell us what it is.
Or we could use my last investigation roll. He's like,
I
nice
will-
try.
In lieu of there being a luck stat, I would like you all to roll a charisma saving throw.
I don't know if this is the right one, but
The saving throws are the top
It is.
column.
Have proficiency in this, and I still rolled an 11.
Lance will contribute. Nella, can you please roll a charisma saving throw?
Whew.
yay! Oh, Is it worth
Why
an
are my
inspiration
rolls
point?
so bad? My rolls in combat are absolutely astounding, but my rolls in role-play are just absolutely terrible. They're either really good or really bad.
Mine's the other way around. It's like, I attack, you do 1 damage. Great, thanks. I flick you on the forehead.
You all hear Lance go, what the, as from behind his back, paws out, Jessica Evol, the halfling rogue who has been traveling with you, as she paws onto your shoulder, Donatello, and looks at the scripts and goes, this is in Fiskans. It is a contract of payoff, a bribe, if you will. Actually, no, that is the exact character for bribe. To allow passage of contraband materials being people of various sorts, through this port. Signed one. Thieves' Cant is very hard to decipher. I would need time on my own with this document to decipher the name proper.
I look straight at the guy that we're investigating, and I say, well, why don't we just simply borrow this for a little while, and we can talk with him about it.
I roll either persuasion or intimidation, however you want that to be perceived. You watch from the moment Jessica began deciphering the thieves' cant to the end of what you just said. The Dockmaster has turned from a very tan, like Caribbean white man tan, to stark white, if not green. And with the conclusion of what you've said, he faints in front of you all and falls back.
Wow. Looks like the culprit has... Well, that happened.
I think that he needs to say a few more things to us. I'm going to go over and try and heal him.
What do you cast?
I want to step over him.
Heal him. I don't know. Just general healing. Whatever.
Roll a medicine check, as I don't think you have any spells for that.
Yeah,
Heal?
I don't think you have any.
Unless
Heal?
you have a spell, you can roll a medicine check.
Do you have any? Do you have any spells on you?
Yeah, give me a second.
If you have a spell that is related to healing, you can declare that that's what you're trying to cast. But if you're just saying you're trying to heal him, I'm not sure.
No. Oh, did we change that? Lay on hands.
Right. Okay, that's the route you're going. How many? There's two options for lay on hands. You can do an amount of points or a certain amount to cure an effect that is described by the spell.
Mm-hmm.
Which are you trying?
The amount of health points is like 5.
Yeah.
It's 5 for a basic thing. So which of those two are you trying to do?
Let's see. Well, that's disease or poison. That's not exactly it. I mean, what I was going for was just, he swooned, so it's just a matter of waking him up.
How do you heal fainting?
Yeah. Yes.
How much HP do you put into him?
I don't know, 5? It's fine.
Just pump this man full of health.
Oh, it says paladin level times 5, which would be 2.
That's your
That'd be
max.
10. That'd be 10.
Your max. That's your max pool that you have to lay into someone. Which you can do if you want. I would not advise it, but you can.
Oh, fair enough. No, that's fine. Let's skip it then.
You lay some health into him. It does nothing for his condition.
Okay.
Nella, do you have a question? I'm sorry.
I said if I could step over him to get inside.
Oh, to get inside. He is like 10 feet back from the door, more now that he's fallen over. So you can easily get within the room.
Oh, okay.
I was basically assuming that y'all were within the room, just past the threshold.
Yeah, I thought we were in the room too.
The desk being no more than 10 feet away from the door.
Okay. Can I go look around in that?
Certainly. Roll an investigation check and tell me the kind of thing you're looking for.
I guess something shiny is what Nella typically tries to find, and she's not good at it, I guess.
All of his buttons are a mix of silver and brass.
Hmm.
Do I have rope? I don't think I have rope. Nope, I don't have rope. Hold on.
So there's no other part of this room? It's just this room?
It's basically just a one room kind of deal. Yeah, there's a slight partition that we'll say you understand is like a porta-john.
Yeah.
A water closet. What else is being done?
Since he's unconscious, I mean, is there anything else in this room that we need? Because he's fainted, and I'm not gonna get anything out of him, and I can't necessarily tie him up because I don't have any rope. Unless I
If you want to thieve from him, there's the money box. I'm not sure quite what Donatello would find of interest in here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is there anything else aside from like the deed of, human trafficking? Like
It's
anything in
definitely-
relation to the war or any dragonborn ships smuggled in?
Roll an investigation check.
It's a 20.
As you're like rifling through drawers, even looking back at the drawer you pulled the paper out of, a loose coin kind of rolls and steadies. It's that same Totenkopf your party has already collected. The Death's Head coin, the circlet with the dragon's skull. That is the emblem of the dynasty. That you've seen on the shields and breastplates and banners, capes of the monsters that have slain your brothers and sisters.
I look at the coin, I pick it up, and I grip it with extreme anger and with just straight strength I shove the desk all the way to, or I shove the desk as hard as I can in anger, stifled anger.
Roll an athletics check.
Oh, okay. I rolled a strength, or just bare strength. You want me to roll athletics then?
Is your athletics score higher than
No,
plus
it's just
4?
4. Yeah, it's still plus 4.
I'll give you a gimme roll again with athletics as the thing you're rolling.
It is stifled anger, by the way. So it's right now it looks like 5.
You shove it. It was close to the wall. You shove it firmly against it with a loud screech and a thud.
And it doesn't wake him up, does it?
No.
He is out. So are there any guards outside?
As you look, is there anything else anyone wants to do before he looks outside? Because with this action, I will say it's going to trigger probably the end of the session. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before he looks? No?
No.
Okay. As you look outside, you see approaching and stopping 4 men in a square, dressed in red. And that is where we are going to end the session for tonight.
Oh boy.
Thank you all for watching. We'd be going longer, but as far as I can tell, yeah, our captain is not here. I want to give him a chance to be a part of this combat, or this encounter upcoming.
We just need to make
Until
sure
next-
that he doesn't almost die again.
Until next time, welcome to spooky season. Have a good night, and God bless.